All right, Big Bang. Today is Wednesday. It's October 16th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Before we get going, you guys need your joggers, you guys need your hoodies, and you guys know where to find those, and that's roback.com. We love Roback.
I'm wearing the joggers right now.
Yeah.
Show my ass off?
Yeah, do it. Yeah. Hit him with the A.
Hey.
Oh,
Hey.
Yeah. Good pull. Oh, there you go.
Whoa.
Saw some grundles, too. It's all right.
It's all right.
No crack, as long as there's no crack.
I had to lift up so there's no crack there.
I need to get my supply because we're officially...
It's fall. It's jogger season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It came a little late this year, but it's here.
The pants rotation could be tough if you don't prepare.
Oh, yeah.
I just have like jeans, khakis, and I'm wearing these now, these Carhartt pants, but I need a lot of joggers from Roback in the rotation immediately.
Yeah, and you lose stuff as the season
They're
changes.
just so much more comfortable than jeans.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And they look good, too.
They do.
So, yeah, it's unmatched.
I don't feel like I'm dressed like a slop. I think I look like this.
No, yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I agree. Listen, you could use the code DOG on roback.com for a generous 20% off for all new customers through the end of this week. That's spelled RHOBACK.com. That's 20% off all shorts, pillows, and more with code DOG. Go check out Roback. They have great stuff.
Yeah.
If you've never seen
Those hoodies are so soft and so nice, too. Like this is the spot for fall. You got to get on Roback.
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
When did joggers and chinos like enter the world? You know?
As opposed to jeans.
Yeah, like
I think it's like within the last 6 years.
I was gonna say, was it something like I just didn't learn about until I got older, or have they always been around?
No, they were definitely not around when I was younger.
Now, I'm going to sound stupid, but I don't care because I'm not a fashionable guy. But weren't chinos just called pants back in the day? Right?
Yeah, but were there any with that same kind of material?
What kind of
And
material?
that looked nice too? Like
Yeah, like those are nice slacks, right?
Yeah, I guess. But, like, for instance, what we wore to school, it was just khakis.
those are khakis.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
a difference though.
Because they're not as
Yeah, they're like I don't.
stretchy.
Do you have a pair of chinos? I don't, but
Yeah.
they're stretchy, kind of meshy. Yeah.
Is that a prerequisite for chinos? They have to be stretchy?
Yeah.
No.
Otherwise it's khakis.
I think khaki is more of a color than a paint.
It is, but
It is, but you know what I mean.
for some reason, growing up, khakis were just pants. At least,
I think
at least
that's
around
like-
my part.
That might be like a St. Pat's thing.
But you could agree that chinos are not.
I think chinos
traditional.
are nicer than just your khakis.
How about this?
The internet is saying that chinos and khakis are basically the same, except chinos are more form-fitting and tapered, while khakis are looser and have a straight or pleated leg.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So, all right, let's peel away the color. Slacks are what they're technically called, maybe.
Yeah.
That's what the olds maybe called it.
But I feel like, if you look at old videos and stuff from the 50s and the 60s where people like dressed up to go to places all the time, like church or sporting events or whatever, I feel like they were wearing chinos and slacks.
Really? Well, here's a way to put it. At our high school, we didn't have a actual uniform. We just had to wear a collared shirt and nice pants. Do you think we get away with wearing chinos?
Definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
Even if they have, do chinos have? They don't have like elastic at the bottom, like a.
No. That to me, that makes them more of a jogger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Joggers,
agree.
what I was gonna say.
It's kind of the revolution, you're right, of joggers are interesting. I think the ladies like took over the world with the yoga pants, and then finally, like 5 years later,
Yeah.
guys kind of got in on the action with joggers.
I feel like the skinny jeans were a thing for a moment, so people liked the kind of tighter around the ankle, but then they're like, well, they're for the rest of the 90% of my leg is going to be uncomfortable. So then they kept the tapered leg and made it more comfortable. That's my theory.
Blue jeans are dying right before our eyes.
Yeah, I
And-
feel like the Levi stock is probably a penny stock now.
Yeah, and sure, some blue jeans are still acceptable, but not like the light blue, not fitting version, like the loose light blue painter.
Those
jeans,
are in for girls.
right,
Yeah.
not for guys.
Yeah, well, they'll come back apparently. Girls are just 5 years ahead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or more.
Ah,
Yeah. They're on their own plane. We're not even on the same timeline.
definitely.
Yeah.
They create the timeline of fashion.
Yeah. But they create it for girls and guys, I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like they set the standard.
Yeah,
yeah, like a girl wearing dirty, ripped up painter jeans is fashionable. A guy does it, he's a bum.
True.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're Feidelberg, then
He can do whatever.
Yeah, he
He
can.
dresses.
He has
yeah.
that.
But he's also like, he's he's on the far edges. Like he's the tip of the spear for fashion trends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is. But there are still restaurants where it's like this is a jean or a chino restaurant. You know.
I feel like you can wear dark jeans.
Yeah.
It has to
so
be.
you're distinctly saying the old
Yeah.
blue.
Like there's like ones that like I feel like my dad would like mow
Like
the
farmer
lawn
jeans,
in.
farmer
Yeah.
jeans.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
a
the
little
ones
different.
that could really get a nice grass stain in.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else we got, Danny? You had something.
You're gonna make me say this. Well, can you tell us how it got brought up? Because I forget. You brought it up to me yesterday.
So obviously we do ads for cars.com, and what we were talking about it yesterday after we cut the ad, Dave was like, yeah, I think my car's on its last legs. Like I'm actually gonna
White Sox Dave.
Yeah, White Sox Dave said this. I think I'm actually gonna trade it in. And Chief's like, how many miles do you have? He's like 130,000. We're like, damn, that's more than we thought.
Good run.
Yeah, considering that he said he bought it with like 70.
Yeah.
But he walks to work now. He walked to work for an early portion of our job.
I'd say he still drives, even though he lives 2 minutes away, 75% of the time.
Yeah.
I see his car next to mine quite often.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And he's like, how'd you put so many on? And he's like, well, I was renting my car out for like a year. And it made me laugh because it made me laugh because of how much Danny laughs at it, because he would always, Danny must, in real time in like 2019, was Dave was renting his car. He's like, he would always go to him. He's like, dude, I feel like he doesn't get enough shit for renting his car.
This was a time where I was very behind the camera. I was not in front of it at all, so I never really had an option event, and I knew it was, go figure, a sore subject for Dave, but I could probably think of 100 other things I'd rather do than rent my car out to someone else for money. It's so violating. It's like letting someone use your bedroom. Like this guy just used my car for a weekend, gives it back. There's an old bag of Cheetos in the back.
What would be the price? Because when Dave said that yesterday, because my car, I spend a decent amount per month on my car.
Yeah.
But you really have to think about it. Like Dave opted in. He went on his own and signed up for this. If someone was like, yo, can I borrow your car this weekend for like
No, I'm talking
$50?
specifically Turo.
Turo.
Yeah.
No free ads.
Yeah.
Right. Or the rental. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever.
no. But so for like a weekend,
Yeah.
man.
Because I was thinking, so let's say.
Well, I wonder, sorry, but on these apps, I'm sure they incorporate like mileage and all that.
I really don't know.
It would have to be.
He said people were taking his car
Like
to
Kentucky.
like Tennessee and back.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like what's the right price to actually just let a stranger?
So let's say you're all in with insurance and everything. Let's say your monthly payment is $800. Would you let it out for one weekend a month for $400?
I mean, listen, it all depends on what financial situation you're in, and I
Right.
think none of us would ever shade anyone if they're trying to get by.
Right. And if you think about what we were making
Yeah.
in 2019 when he was doing that,
I don't think
1,000%. But
Yeah.
like, mind you, Dave plays it off as like, what? Like, it's just a couple extra bucks. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's like, maybe it's not, but I would like start a lemonade stand.
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I had been thinking about that when he said it. I'm like, maybe I'll look into this.
Yeah.
When he said it yesterday. But then I think ultimately, like, somebody would show up to my house to pick up the car and be like, no deal.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
my mind went the other way. I was like, do I need to buy Dave lunch? Like, is time's bad?
Yeah.
Like, if you had a
But
car-
times were tight back then.
But
They were tight. And
No,
you
but
always
listen.
you had a lower living cost than Dave and I because you've always had roommates.
but Dave would, if Dave
he
were
did it
here,
at that time too, though. He did it at that time too.
if Dave were here right now, he would not be like, I did it because I was desperate and needed cash. He'd be like, what? I did. What's the big deal? I just wanted a couple extra bucks.
Yeah, he had a roommate at that time too.
He would not be like, man, I'm embarrassed. I really needed fucking some money at the time. He'd be like, what? I have plenty of money. It's just an easy way to get more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I like it like on a ledger. Be like, hey, if I can cut my payment in half for 2 days or 2-3 days of use, then maybe that's actually worth it. But then I do think that I would just never actually.
Is it like the adult equivalent of selling plasma?
I did that.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
you're in college.
No, it'd be
Yeah,
it'd
but
be
it's-
semen if anything.
So, but I actually think it's worse because you do have to have that car back. No one's returning your used plasma. So once your plasma's gone, I'll just make more.
People are hotboxing it.
Yeah.
But he lived in Augusta. He did have a roommate at that time. So that's not true. And he'd always brag about how cheap his rent was. And he'd always brag about how much he made at his previous
And he
job.
would say like $500 is nothing to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I have no
That's a
sympathy
fact.
for him.
You're cutting the man too many breaks, right?
Yeah.
I'm not cutting too many breaks, but I am saying,
Bring him in here to hear his side.
No.
I especially with that car, like my car is new and nice. His car, he said he bought it with 70,000 miles. It was already kind of a piece of shit. So like, the seats were ripped up. Like, who cares, right? So I don't know. I don't think it's. Yeah, I am cutting Dave some breaks.
I think you are too.
Yeah,
It'd be like if I had 2 cars and I didn't use one, and someone recommended that I use this app to rent out my car, sure. But for Dave, it's like you're making your own house, an Airbnb, and like eating in the kitchen with the family and everything.
Yeah.
I also just don't trust strangers.
Yeah.
He loves trusting strangers and always has.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Like
Right.
when he gave that guy your number from Purdue.
Dude, that was that was wild.
You ever hear that story?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
What, they want to talk Hawks with you? I'm like, well,
Dave, don't give 2 random
these
guys
are
that go to
fucking
Purdue.
college kids. Like,
I know.
my Hawks thoughts are out there. I don't need an additional group chat with strangers.
Now, that would be the counter argument, though, if you are going to make a counter argument and not just make a million excuses for White Sox Dave, is that people do Airbnbs all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not seen as maybe taboo is the word.
But sure. But like they find ways to
That's another.
Airbnb-ify their house, and those people would also probably tell you straight up that they really need the money. And also these days, I feel like most Airbnbs, it's like a lake house that the family
An extra
owns.
house?
Yeah.
Extra house.
Because I actually thought about that too. Because I'm on Zillow every day. So, and I have a little nest egg for a down payment. So I keep looking for like the right place where maybe I would move and then keep my current place. And I feel like right next to Wrigley, I think it's pretty nice. I feel like I could do an Airbnb for that, make pretty good money.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
But I don't think I'd ever want to like see like someone else's hair in my tub.
Yeah,
know?
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Where if it's your extra house, it's whatever.
Right.
But it's the fact that that was his primary
You're-
car.
It's too personal.
Some guy and his girlfriend are sleeping and fucking in my bed. No.
Yeah.
Like-
Remember what happened to Trista?
No.
She had a place in like DC or something, and she was gone for like a month or two when she was like at Barstool or whatever. And something happened with the door lady. They said that people, like men, kept going up. Some escort rented it out, and they were just like
Get the
using
fuck
it
out
as a
of
fuck
here.
shack.
Dave's car could have got dirty mic'd in the boys.
Totally. Yeah.
Damn.
Dave's car could have been a
That's what I mean.
bank robber.
I don't trust other people.
I agree.
Yeah.
And that's
Like I've known you guys for 6 years or so now. I still don't really fully trust anybody. So
yeah, but it's it always just made me laugh.
I only really fully trust Lance. Lance is probably the only guy I fully trust.
What can I say?
Yeah.
That's good looks.
Yeah.
It always made me laugh because it'd be like one of those things where like I'd be like driving Danny home and we'd be in like bumper to bumper traffic on the highway and we'd be like dead silent. He's like, dude, can't believe that guy rents out his car. And how like taken it back and how funny he found it. I've always found him.
The other funny
Well, it's
thing,
like a guy claiming he has no money problems is renting out his car. It's like, what do you mean?
yeah. But then the other thing that was funny to me is that he would rent out the car, but he would never clean it out. Like that bucket of baseball equipment never left his trunk, no matter, even though he was renting it out.
No chance.
That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking about the person who is going to come to Chicago, rent a car, and they end up with the WSD mobile. And they're
Yeah.
like, geez, you know?
Yeah, they go to like put their suitcases in the trunk and it's like, sorry, there's catcher's gear in here.
Yeah.
So you're
Take
out.
the baseball.
Yeah.
I never even finished. I never told that full story because it was a weird week. When I caught the ball at Sox Park, or I didn't catch the ball, but I got my first foul ball at Sox Park. That
Roll
night
and hit your
game.
foot.
So it came. It was a fly ball, and it landed in my row, and it was like 2 seats down.
And those seats were empty, I assume.
those seats were empty.
Yeah.
So I ran over, and the guy behind me was reaching for it, and I was kind of like wrestling with him, like you know what I mean? We
Yeah.
were like going at it, not like viciously, but like I was boxing him out. He was like boxing me out, and I got it. I got the ball. And I sit down, and he's sitting there with his buddy. I was just by myself, and his buddy's like, because they weren't my seats. I just sat down.
Okay.
And his buddy's like, those aren't even his seats. He boxed you out, and he knocked over your pizza. And I turn around. The third part really got me. And I was like, sir, did I really knock over your pizza? And he's like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, no. Like, I feel bad. If I knocked over your pizza, I want to buy you another one.
Yeah.
He goes, I said, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay. Like,
Then I won't worry about it.
yeah, like whatever. Then I'm like, I'm getting the hell out of here. But the guy was like furious, and it kind of took the joy out of it. And I had the ball, and there were no kids around, thankfully, because my whole thing was I wanted a ball from the record-breaking loss. Lost 121. So I held on to the ball the whole time, and I would have felt like an asshole if there were kids around, but there weren't, thankfully. Just some people are chirping at me on Twitter. They're like, oh, give it to a kid, you lose, whatever. I was like, I don't care about the ball. I just want to do something funny with it. I wanted to have the losing pitcher sign it and like just do some type of funny content around
Picture.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And so I held on to the ball the whole game, and then at the end of the game when they won, I saw a kid and I gave it to him. I was like, hey, you want a ball? He's like, sure. And he just took it, and he didn't even fucking appreciate it.
Damn.
So I should have kept the ball.
Yeah, you
Long
should've.
story short.
I've never caught one either.
Was the guy more mad about the alleged pizza falling or him not getting the ball?
I don't know, and I kept trying to replay it in my head to see like if I wrestled it out of his hands or not.
It all
Who
happened so
cares?
fast.
Survival of the fittest.
He's taking his anger at the White
Yeah.
Sox out on you.
Yeah, it really did happen really fast, and I can't really recall it how it went down, but
Well, screw him. It's every man for himself when there's a fly ball.
I know.
Yep.
I know. I actually had like a friend of a friend who was on Waveland there when Sammy like hit one of the 60 home runs, and like there was a big lawsuit. Someone said someone bit their hand, and
Jesus.
it got ugly out there on those streets.
I mean, those were worth thousands of dollars.
The ball hawks.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I genuinely think if I would have pulled off what I wanted to do, I could have got some money for it too.
If that happened, the worst loss ever.
Yeah, that's truly what I wanted. I wanted to get it. I was going to do like a deal or no deal, like auction it off for $1.21 or $12.11. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll bring it all the way up to 1.2 million and see who, see which would win. I had a whole
plan.
I know, and
That's a shame.
fucking White Sox had to win 2 games. Would you believe it?
You might be their good luck charm. You got to start going to more White Sox games.
Yeah,
Next year.
yeah. I mean, apparently so. I'm looking at my list here. Does anyone else have anything?
Chief, go off, man. Cook.
I didn't have a list today. What else is on your list?
I'm looking, dude.
I wrote Uber driver sob story.
Okay.
Actually, I might have a list. Hold on.
See, I wrote Uber driver sob story because I took like $120 Uber home from Michigan City or New Buffalo this past Sunday.
Really?
It was like a wild Sunday because I had a wedding there. I told the story in the stretch, but
How'd you get there? You Ubered there too?
I went with my friends. So I hitched a ride with my friends, but I needed to be back for the London game at 7 a.m. And I was so paranoid about the Chicago Marathon because you can't get from Northeast Indiana to Cody's. So that wasn't an option going straight to Cody's. So I left at like 12:30 at night and was just in some lady's Uber. Have you ever taken like a long ride with someone?
No.
Yeah, you have?
I've done, St. Charles to the city.
Yeah, but that's not the same.
It was like over an hour and a half.
Whoa.
Yeah, but that's like in traffic and shit. That's not
So what are you talking about?
like door to door, miles to mile. Like that's what's
State
the
to
mileage
state.
on that? Yeah, like we're talking. We went through 3 states.
Yeah, but if it's time is time.
Yeah, but what's the mileage from here to St. Charles?
Direct. Let's go right to my parents' house.
The Uber drivers can tell now where they're going ahead of time before accepting your ride, right?
So I kind of duped her. Incidentally, I was kind of was kind of drunk and I was kind of an idiot. It's 33.5 miles. 34 miles, call it.
St. Charles.
St. Charles. I show the actual drive is 51 to my parents'
51,
house.
yeah.
Hour 18 with no traffic.
So I read that I was going to take the train, which would have been
Smart,
but also it would have been kind of funny, the story, like see how it was. But like, yeah, I took the midnight train.
Night train.
Yeah. And I read the schedule wrong. It said it went from South Bend to Michigan City, and then I thought if I got on at Michigan City, it would just take me home. No, it just ended there. So I'm in the Uber, and it was actually a Lyft because they have a weird restriction from Michigan and Indiana. And I'm like, hey, how would you feel about if I change this drive to Chicago? She's like, yeah, that would be fine. So I would just, take it all the way, rip it straight there. I'm like snoring in the back, and she's constantly waking me up. Do you mind if I avoid tolls? I was like, Alyssa, I don't care.
lady.
Yeah, just get me
Like,
there.
just please get me there. Like, I have to be up early to go to this game, and I just don't really care.
We were talking about fashion earlier. I don't know if we could pull up the screen, but you might have to see it to believe it. I fell into a Full Send podcast wormhole, and they had Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank on. And this guy shows up wearing a watch on each wrist, same watch and everything. That's something that'll never stick. He looked ridiculous.
Why would he do that? They ask him?
Yeah, they went off about it. He said he was obviously saying like it wasn't weird. He just said he's a watch collector. Their big thing was he was just being a big watch hardo. He's like, there's people who like watches and there's people who collect watches. It just had some weird justification. Why wouldn't I rep both on both hands if I like him so much?
That's like just
Wonderful said that?
obnoxious rich guy shit. The only way that I would deem that sort of acceptable is if you were that rich and you also had a business in like Shanghai or London or something, and you just had to like, I don't know, always be aware of what time it was in the other place. That's the only way.
Maybe, and
makes
maybe he
sense.
did say that, but still, I think I would rather wear two watches on one wrist than one on both.
Oh,
Oh,
I think two
smack
on
'em?
one. I think 2 on 1 is worse.
Well, if once you see this, you tell me, because he looked like Inspector Gadget.
It was one an Apple Watch?
No, they're both the same watch. They were like a brown leather wrap.
They were making fun of him?
I mean, not really. They asked him why.
That looks like Dr. Phil.
That's just a bald white guy. Not every bald white guy looks the same, Ed.
That's the prerequisite?
Can you see it from there? Lance, zoom in on that one you were just on.
How much do you think Dr. Phil is worth?
A lot.
Over
He's
100.
making his own news network.
I know. Do you think he's worth over 100 million?
Not quite. Not quite. I will say that the Dr. Phil show is not a bad show at all. It was kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. How much is he worth?
An estimated 460 million.
What?
Yeah.
Who?
Dr. Phil.
Jeez.
All right, so Philly's got
bags.
he's got some different streams that I may not be aware of. What does he do? He was starting his news network, like I said.
He has a podcast. I know he had Trump on.
He ain't making
a while
400
ago.
million from a podcast, unless he's Alex Cooper.
So the top 5 richest TV hosts. Judge Judy is worth 440 million.
I knew that. I knew Judy was fucking.
Jay Leno is 450 million.
You remember that old stat? Judge Judy makes more than all the Supreme Court judges combined. Or
Yeah. Which she should. Phil 460 according to this site. Ellen 500 million. And then Oprah, the queen,
Here's the picture.
3.5 billion.
She just had a. Wow, yeah, that looks ridiculous. They're both red
Ridiculous.
too.
Yeah, they're red. I
That's
was wrong,
insane.
not brown.
That's Mr. Wonderful. What are we doing?
I do like Mr. Wonderful though. That's an absurd look.
Absurd look.
Absurd.
Us talking about it doesn't do it justice. You got to see it. I'm not telling you to watch the full Sim pod, but
Did
go
you
watch
see
it.
that Ravens fan who was like beating up Commanders fans after the game yesterday?
No.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
Apparently, this guy in a Ravens jersey was just roaming around looking to beat up Commander fans. It's actually the top log if you want to pull it up, Lance.
Yeah, I don't think we can show the fight, but I've seen the video.
Oh, I'm watching it right now.
Yeah.
Someone posted his LinkedIn.
Yeah, and they're like,
all over him.
everyone's all over this dude. Like, they're saying his name.
Good.
And, you know,
He was just solo?
someone was filming him. So
Yeah, someone was filming him.
someone.
2 people are filming him, and then he just punched these, and they look like kids. Oh, he knocked the fuck out of that kid.
Come on.
Oh, it looks like he
Blindsiding
got
him?
fired, too.
Dude, yeah, I would hope so. This is assault.
Yeah, I wonder if he got
Kicked the
arrested.
guy, and then boom, KO right and fell into a car. That's like, I don't understand. This is one of those things where it's like, I don't understand people. Like this would never happen. I would never even like have that thought cross my mind. The closest I get is when skateboarders are going by me or people on scooters or something. I just like fantasize about throwing a hip check into them.
Yeah.
But I have never actually acted upon it. But it would be, I do like the idea of it. And then he's flexing on people after. What a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Is it rage or is he trying to get TikTok famous or what?
I don't know. There were some people saying that they were going at it earlier, and it was people he had already seen at the bar. But then there were people who were like, "Yeah, this guy was just looking for anyone in a Commander's jersey to punch him in the face." So,
Fight guy might be the worst guy of all time.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't wait. Relax.
That's a different level too. He's
Yeah.
seeking people out.
It's a young man's game.
But it shouldn't be in any man's game.
You're
What
right.
do you fight? Like, it would have to, like, you would have to do something to my family.
Yeah.
They didn't even say anything to him. He just went up and clocked
Right.
him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember being there so many times in college, and it'd be like, "Oh, let's go fight this frat." You know, it's like, dude, why? What are we doing?
Really?
What's the
Frat
point?
fights?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, there were high school fights. You did
yeah.
that.
I know that, but frat fights are next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that's a melee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 100% a melee.
A Donnybrook.
Super
What-
frat bros.
One day, they gave like a bunch of people mob action tickets. Yeah,
Yeah. I would imagine.
that's kind of exactly what it was.
Yeah.
You can't you just settle things with having people upper deck someone's toilet?
That's how it starts, Ed.
No.
People do upper decks. We got to get them back, and it escalates and escalates. Why don't you just be a normal guy?
You're going gang wars on him.
I know. No, it was definitely very serious fight.
Have you been in a fight post college?
No, I've never been in a fight, period.
You ever been in a fight your whole life?
I mean, not like that I would consider, to me, a fight is like, it's happening 3:30 or, 7:30 at night.
Parking lot.
Yeah,
Bro.
like that's a fight to me, Like that's like one-on-one.
I don't think that has happened. That's like a Old West duel. Like
don't-
that hasn't
but I'm
happened.
telling
Like that's
you,
like in the shows. And
It
movies.
happened a lot in
Yeah,
my childhood.
3 o'clock flagpole situation.
That happened all the time.
But like that would never. I said post college. Like that would never.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Like
You never
whatever.
had like a spontaneous flare up,
I've been in the middle of
a fracas,
stuff. Yeah,
breaking
exactly. I got rock'em sock'em roboted a couple times.
it up. Yeah.
Knocked my hat off in the middle of the scuffle. And yeah, I've been in that, but
So
to
you've
me,
never really been like punched in the face.
like
That could change.
straight like the
Like yeah, you're in a fight and you get punched in the face.
No,
Wow.
no. I've never been a fight guy. I've never been someone who like I'm kind of a de-escalator. I'm not a
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is insane to, like, for a fight to start with a punch instead of a push.
yeah.
Oh, I'd say 90% start with a push.
Yeah.
Right. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. Push is like if someone pushes you can justify be like, all right, buddy, relax, or
Yeah.
just push back. But if he just punches you in the face, like, well, now you have to fight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never been. Have you been in one?
I've been in the middle of one, like you said, but
like where I'm saying, I'm telling you, these kids would be like, all right, 7:30, Shabona Park, like,
Yeah. But that's like kid shit.
yeah, but that was through 18. Those happen like
Yeah.
almost every weekend. I feel.
yeah, sometimes
I used to get in because when I was so little, I think I've said this before. I used to like 7th grade through like sophomore year. I was getting in fights a lot, losing all of them. But if I had like early onset Napoleon,
Yeah, I know your little man syndrome.
big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's absurd to think about.
Yeah. So then I would
It
just,
really is.
yeah. So like my mom would have to come and be like,
I would pay money to see you be in a little fucking short stack on the playground.
That's
with
why
a
you
bloody
empathize with White Sox Dave so much, just to stick up for him. So.
Yeah.
yeah. But I have a vivid memory of being in like 8th grade, and we had like this gym class where you had like 4 different gym classes going on at the same time, and you could like pick whatever game you wanted. And I picked floor hockey, and it was in the wrestling room where all the mats were rolled up, and this guy like pushed me over the wrestling mat and like laughed about it. So I just popped up and started fighting him. Like stuff like that happened.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot,
Yeah.
but I've never had like you're meeting at 3:00 at the flagpole.
Yeah, like wrestling and shit. I've done
Oh yeah, and it turned serious.
totally.
Yeah.
I've been in those situations.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but
This kid once on the playground pushed me. He was much bigger than me too, and I pushed him back, and he fell down, and that was the only thing the lunch mom saw. So then I got Saturday detention.
damn,
Since
Damn.
then, I was like, fuck fighting, dude.
fucking Oglesby tossed your ass. Huh? that's a tough day.
No one tossed me. I tossed them. They might have tripped, but still.
Why does that make you think less of me?
It feels like it should be like impossible. Like I'm not like a fighter. I started this conversation off being like, what is your problem? But sometimes it's just like they can't be de-escalated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
No, I never really had beef with anyone like that.
Yeah.
I just never really had issues.
Good for you.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I played football for 10 years. I wrestled my freshman year. There was content.
That's what I mean. Like
in my life.
Like I had a kid, Adam Cavallari at Berkshire. We got in fights at practice.
Like punching each other in the face.
Yes. All the time. He was like ended up being like one of my best friends, but we would get into like scraps like that has to be broken up all the time. All the time.
That's unhinged. You're an unhinged man.
He did it in a fucking game to somebody once, so I think it was probably him that started. We had a kid who he was like a little bit nuts, as I remember, but a guy like got hit into our bench sort of, and then he just fucking like he was on the bench, and this kid was like leaned over the boards, and he just fucking hammered him and got kicked out, and then I think he got suspended for that one too. But I don't know, like it's like I feel like especially like football camp, like 2-a-days, I feel like fights would happen in 2-a-days. Like,
Yeah, but fights, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're punching someone or someone's punching you in the face. Like shoving and everything like that is
oh, I feel like I remember a fight like
Scuffle.
at the water station. Like the drills went a little hard, and then
you were throwing haymakers.
I
at
didn't
each other's
do that.
face at the water.
I didn't do that.
I don't-
But
yeah,
that happened.
Like I said, I don't know if it's a fight unless there's a punch thrown. Like,
Exactly.
pushing
yeah,
happens
no,
all the
I'm
time.
saying punches. I'm saying punches.
Unhinged.
Yeah, man. No,
Yeah.
like I've never been there throwing fucking haymakers at someone.
Yeah, that was not me for the record, but I definitely was like me to you watching it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've seen it
Yeah.
millions of times. There were
Yeah.
fights all the time.
But like that's what I mean, where to go through your whole life without having something like pop up and it just gets out of control before you know.
Yeah,
it
it is
happened.
pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah,
You're right.
It's lucky.
Yeah, it is lucky
Yeah.
for sure. And I remember, I'll never forget seeing one of my buddies get his nose broken, and it was
It's bad. It's got a sound
it's
too.
fucked. I know. I still hear
Yeah.
that sound.
Yeah, the black eye, you can tell
Man,
you have a sound to that too.
we were just standing there in the street. We're on our bikes, and I was friends with this kid. I would never call him or whatever. He was just kind of like
Yeah.
in the group through other people, you know. So he wasn't like my good friend, but he was just, you know, he went to my
Yeah.
school, and we always had problems with the public school kids, and they came up, and for no reason the kid just threw a left at him, and it was a legitimate faucet.
Yeah. That sound is something that so have I told this story about what happened to Nicole?
No.
So my girlfriend, we were in bed, pitch black out, and I go to roll over, but I don't know, I don't do this anymore because I elbowed her in the eye. Like I grabbed the sheet and like rolled over onto my stomach, but like almost like a flop, you know, all in kind of one motion. And like she sat up, and like as I was rolling over, my elbow hit her right like hard in the eye. And like it was pitch black and she was like quiet. She didn't like cry at first, but it got her good. And I'm like, that's like, I could get like emotional thinking about it right now because like,
Really?
she had a black eye. And like as soon as I heard the sound, I was like, oh fuck, this is bad. And so this is like, it's like 2 or 3 years ago, but it was bad. It was bad.
But it wasn't the nose, it was the eye.
It was the eye, but like you can hear that, you know, I can't even do the sound.
You ever seen someone get their nose broken?
I can't say I have.
Yeah,
Not alive.
it's
Nose breaks are bad.
It's
There's nothing worse than getting hit in the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Even if it doesn't break, you think it's broken.
Yeah, I've also had an irrational fear of that forever too.
Breaking your nose?
Yeah. My sister, someone like pushed the door open too fast on her, smashed her nose in. And you're right, the eyes get dark. And you're just fucked.
Yeah, because I've been hit in the nose where it's like bleeding.
Someone's got to set it.
Yeah, I've never broken it, but yeah,
that's a bad.
It's got to be like one of the worst places to get hit.
Yeah. After that, I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Wearing nose guards out everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nosebleeds in general. That's like a bigger one. I'm not like a cocaine person.
About
I was at a party and I saw someone do it and they just like immediately their nose started like being a faucet and I was like 19.
It was like Pulp Fiction.
No, not because that was just
she like a hot nosebleed.
Yeah.
A little drip.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like nice.
It wasn't messy.
Yeah.
No
this was like messy. Like, should we call an ambulance?
Mm-hmm. Where do you think would be the best spot to take a punch?
Has to be above the shoulders.
Well, yeah. It's got to be
Face?
in the face. Yeah.
Oh, in the face?
Jaw.
So the thing with the jaw is it's like your ear. You ever have that where you've never been hit, but like if you get hit in the jaw, then you get like that like thing where it just like if you try to open your mouth, like your ear fucking just it hurts so badly. You know what I'm talking about?
Getting hit in the ears.
Ear would be bad. Maybe probably forehead. You'd probably break somebody's fucking hand if they hit your forehead the right way.
I was thinking about that, but I'm thinking of the aftermath of what you would look like, and to have like a bumpy, bruised forehead would look absurd. I might just take the black eye.
Yeah.
If you're getting hit in the nose without breaking it,
getting hit
too risky.
Hit in the nose. I feel like that's
messy cleanup could affect the whole face.
And it's like the fight's over because now you like can't see.
Yeah,
so
automatic tears.
Yeah,
you're leaking.
Yeah,
you're leaking.
Give me a black eye. Could look cool. Could not.
Yeah,
yeah. But if you get smoked in the face by something too, it's kind of the same simulation, right?
What do you mean?
It's pitch.
Yeah, like if you ever got smoked by a ball or something like that.
I've never been hit in the. Well, I got hit in the ear with a golf ball.
You know, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah,
I've heard that if you get hit by a golf ball, regardless if it's going 5 miles or 35, you should always go to the hospital.
What?
I didn't, but I probably should have.
Yeah. Why?
Because
dude, we
in the head.
We met this kid. We were at this golf event where he got hit in the head with like a screamer, like at 200 yards. Not that dissimilar to mine. Like I think if mine hit me like square in the ear, like a hole in one. I think if it had been 2 inches up, it hit me in the temple. But this guy he went into a coma like 12 hours later because he had a brain bleed, and he's still
cut out part of a skull.
Yeah. So the swelling so it could expand, and then but he had to relearn how to walk, and like one side of his body's still messed up. So it's no joke.
No, not at all. It's really bad. It was like a new fear unlocked with golfing.
Yeah, you got to be head on a swivel and like don't really go above somebody, especially like people that like we suck. Mm-hmm. So you never know.
Well,
if you're playing with
it's out of your control. Some of these courses are just fairway, and you're like,
oh, so if someone sprays one over,
you don't have any chance.
Yeah,
you don't have any chance.
Yeah,
start wearing a helmet, Ed.
Ed going out there with like one of those NFL bubble helmets. Yeah,
nose guard.
Yeah. Well, they have like those oversized foam baseball hats. You can see Eddie out there with one of those.
I used to have a practice helmet.
Yeah.
I used to have a thing when I was a kid. I got hurt on every vacation, like every time without fail. I would just
like what? Like, give me an example.
Well, this is a little different, I guess. This was on Christmas. Actually, I was excited to go run into my aunt's house. and I was
How old are you?
5, maybe
Okay.
6. I don't know, maybe a little older because I was conscious of it. Like I still remember it happening to this day.
Okay.
And I was running into the house, and I ran right into the side mirror, like full speed. Like smoked it, like all the Christmas pictures. Like I just had a big ass black eye.
Dude, my dad, when he was a kid, almost died from something similar to that.
Really?
Like they were playing tag. I think he was like 10. And he was chasing this kid, and the kid ran in his house and slammed the glass door. And my dad went through the glass door, and he had a big shard of glass like stuck in his arm. So, and he still has a scar. It's like probably a 3-inch scar. And he pulled it out of his arm, and he said it just started like gushing blood, like hit like a main artery, and they had to do like emergency surgery so he didn't bleed out. And he lived, and he got home, and he had his grandparents were visiting, and his grandpa was like this Swedish like immigrant, like didn't speak a ton of English, and he walks in. And he grabs my dad by the collar, and he goes, "If you were my son, I would beat you for how much you scared your mother." My dad's like, "What the fuck?" I almost just, "If you were my son, I would beat you." Yeah.
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 That happened to my college roommate with a shard of glass too.
Really?
Yeah. So I visited ISU that weekend. I think it was like our old school around the world. Did you guys ever go to one of those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a fun.
What is that?
thing I used to do. I used to do a thing where every house was a different country.
Like an Epcot kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And so I was gone, and I got back, and I got back to Southern, and I'm going down the hall to my dorm, and I look, and there's a big piece of plywood over the window because they had, massive windows. And I look at my door, and my roommate was a little lost at the time. We'll say that. We'll just leave it at that. And there was a sign or a piece of paper on my door. It said blood all over the floor. Walk around or step over or something. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
It's a murder scene?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I go in, and it wasn't really all over the place as much as I thought it would be. And in my hamper, it's all bloody. Like there's just blood all over my hamper. I'm like, oh great, whatever. And I found out what happened. He was in the room, and he was with someone, and someone kept fucking with him, like throwing balls at the door, and he came out and he punched the plate glass window. And when he pulled back, just
all those veins.
Yeah, dude. And he like legitimately almost bled out.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and then it ended up being fun because he was just such a fucking asshole at the point. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
what happened with the hamper? He's like, oh, that's not blood. The girl puked jungle juice in the hamper. And that's what the red was. It was jungle juice, not blood.
Wow.
So, yeah. All right. We could wrap this up.
Damn. Bloody episode.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.